medicine and detox center. And
Right, we live right next door to each other.
yes, that's right. We're neighbors. And you have this wonderful, wonderful sound that comes out of your room every so often. I absolutely love that sound. You do sound healing, plus you do hypnoanalysis, and you are also a self-empowering coach. Plus you do some counseling, right?
Right. My main thing is doing counseling and coaching with my clients, and then per client and as they desire, we'll do some work with the singing crystal bowls. We'll use some medical hypnoanalysis. We'll do some energy healing, or there's other people that just want the straight counseling. So it really depends upon the person.
And you just had a workshop yesterday called Empower Yourself.
No, it was called Figuring Yourself Out.
Figuring yourself out. That's right. Figuring yourself out. And now you're a little bit different of a hypno. The hypno that you do is different from the typical hypnotherapy, right? Because you're doing the hypnoanalysis.
Yeah, it's based on the medical model. I mean, it's called medical hypnoanalysis, and like I said, it's based on a medical model. For example, if you go to see, someone comes to see you, you take a bit of a history. Mm-hmm. You may do some testing with them, and then you treat. This is the same thing. Is I take a history from the person when they come in. I have 2, quote, lab tests that I do, and then we talk about a treatment plan, which may include any of the things that we just named.
What kind of lab tests are those?
One is a word association test, and one is a dream analysis. And basically what that does is we use the word association test and the dream analysis to either confirm or deny what comes up on the history. So we're like building a case to see where things are coming from, why a person has an issue, why it's continuing today, and all 3 of these things then work together so that we're not just going off on a tangent.
Cool.
And then it's in the right direction.
Okay, so then once you have that information, from there you use the sound healing as well, right?
Yes. I usually do all of that first, and then the sound healing may be a bit of a misconception. I'm not that well trained in it yet. I'm not that good at it. I'm more of a beginner. And so I use it more for relaxation. I use it with the hypnosis to help people go into a deeper state of hypnosis. And I'll use it to help people balance out their chakras. There's so much to sound healing, and I'm such a novice at it, I don't want to be misleading. But, there's actually research done that shows we can change the structure of a cell with sound, with the right sound. Now, I'm not that good at it yet, but there's a lot to it.
Wow, that's really cool. Now, I know that energetically, like everything is, vibrating at a certain frequency. So
right.
What that sounds to me, the similarity is that there's also a sound that would be vibrating with that, with correspondence to whatever that may be. Would you say that's about correct?
I'd say you're right on target. You're familiar with the chakra system, correct?
Right.
And each chakra system vibrates to a particular color. Yet each chakra also vibrates to a particular musical pitch. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then the bowls are tuned to each of the 7 chakras.
Uh-huh. Right. And so I know that like the lower vibration, the lower sound of the bowls would obviously be like the lower part of the chakras, right? Which is
see that's not it at all.
Okay.
What it is the lower sounds are just a different octave. So the bigger bowl, like the huge bowl that you saw that you really liked in my office,
oh yes,
that's just a lower octave. You could get a bowl with the same pitch, and it would just be higher, but it's just a different octave. So the larger the bowl, the lower the sound, and the smaller the bowl, the higher the sound. But it's all the same pitch.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
So it's all the same pitch.
Well, no, each bowl has a different pitch.
Right.
Okay, but I can have a G in a huge bowl like the one that you see. That's like an 18-inch bowl. Or I can have a G in a 10-inch bowl.
Right. Okay. I got you. So, but size does matter.
Like a piano.
Right.
Yes.
So you go
Yes.
from the lower to the
Yes.
middle to the higher octaves.
Exactly.
Ah.
Exactly.
And so the actual the pitch, does that matter in regards to the chakras and the energy, the emotional aspect of things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, like I said, each chakra resonates with a particular musical pitch. And I can't give them to you all right now, except that I do know the throat is G. So it will, it will clear and go to it and work with each chakra. However, I will also tell you that while it's really fun having all 7 bowls, for years I couldn't afford that. And I had one bowl, and by intention, you can use one bowl on any of the chakras, no matter what it's tuned to, and that's by intention and energy.
Really? Now, that's really interesting that you would say something like that, Pat, because I don't think that a lot of people understand the importance behind intention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I've actually had people change the intention right in a session. I had one lead that was highly resistant to the whole process of even being there and was more or less for some kind of therapy or coaching. And she could switch intention, and it would make all the difference in the world in terms of even how the bowl sounded when I played it.
Wow.
She would block it intentionally, that kind of thing.
So are your subjects, are they laying down, sitting down, or what is the position when you're playing the bowls?
They can be standing up, they can be lying down, they can be sitting. It's however they're comfortable. The other part of that is there's times when I'll have them play the bowl because it gives a whole nother vibration to them.
That's
That is really
interesting.
cool. Now, I actually had an opportunity to get a recording of the sound healing type
Really?
of thing. Yeah, and we have it here on audio. Sis, you want to go ahead and play that?
Sure.
And so, folks, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a tidbit of what's going to happen right now. I didn't do any intake or anything like that. It was just simply just to record the sounds of the bowls, what they make. And while she was doing this, she somehow picked up that there were certain things going on with me. So
with you,
yeah.
So
was
it
really
depends on
interesting.
how what your vibrations are from your body that determines what is going on with you, or what.
And Pat, is there a relationship with people when they come in? Obviously, there seemed to be some sort of relationship with the bowls, like with the person and the bowls.
Well, yeah, there is that. Plus, yes. Plus, I'm also psychic, and so that helps me see and read what's going on with the person. One of the things, if I have difficulty to get the bowl to play, that tells me something. If in playing the bowl it just starts going really loud and really almost wild, that tells me something.
Wow.
So it just depends. And one person the bowl may not be playing because they're absorbing so much of that energy coming from the bowl because they need it so badly. Okay. Another person may not have the bowl playing because they're resisting it. So you just kind of have to see what's going on with the person at the time.
So where did this therapy originate from?
Boy, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that.
It's probably really ancient, is what it is. Yeah, I would imagine
it is.
so.
It is very ancient. The singing crystal bowls are fairly new.
Because I know the monks use bells.
They use the metal bowls. Mm-hmm. Okay, and those are different. It's the same idea, of course, but to me they're harder to play. But yeah, the metal bowls are centuries old. In fact, you can find some of them that are still available, and they're very, very expensive, of course. But you get one of the original ones or ones that are very old. The sound from them are just amazing.
So, how did you learn, Pat? Who taught you?
I picked up a bowl and I started playing with it, and I started playing it, and I started reading about the bowls and how they affected chakras, and then I just listened to my guides and what I'm drawn or guided to play. I have not really been taught how to play the bowls. As a side to that, however, I am now studying and working towards a music degree so that I can have more background, at least in sound therapy or music therapy and sound therapy. But again, I'm really new at this. I've not had a lesson in how to play bowls.
So this is really mostly like self-taught and really listening to
it's
yourself.
Just guided, you know? It's
right.
just guided is all I can say.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and play this because I want to talk to you a little bit more about it right after, because actually something happened to me. So I want to tell you about that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That would not be it.
No,
that's not it.
That was something Joe cued in. Okay, let's go ahead and there we go.
Whoa, you got anything going on in your throat? Not that I'm aware of. Anything you're not saying? That needs to be said? Not that I'm aware of. That's probably a yes then. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause it. We're about halfway through, so we can find out what's going on with this.
Yeah, so one of the things that Pat brought up, and Pat, if you could just tell us your last name, I'm sure the listeners are interested in knowing.
It's Hani Otis.
Hani Otis. I tried, and I said, I'm just going to go ahead and wait until she says it. Thank you, Pat. Okay. Now, you said that you felt like there was some sort of a blockage or something there in my throat, throat chakra, right? And then, and then what was interesting as at the very end, I noticed, you brought up something about my heart chakra, and I felt that even though you didn't stop and we didn't talk about it during, and we talked about it afterwards, I felt like I felt like there was something going on in my heart chakra. I didn't feel it in my throat necessarily at that time.
Yes.
But I definitely felt it in my heart chakra. And, the best way that I can describe it, it's like, it just almost like a heat, and yet it was like waves of heat and waves of just like energy.
Yeah.
And kind of like pressure inside as well. Definitely like there was some sort of like a living organism, but it was all energetic type of thing.
Right.
Really
right.
interesting. But on Saturday when I woke up, in the morning time, it was really weird because I heard like, I want to say almost like bells.
Yes.
In your head.
Yes. And I asked my partner, I was like, do you hear that?
She's like, what, honey? I don't hear nothing.
Yeah. Don't you hear the bells? Okay, that's it.
That was last night, honey. That was the fireworks.
Yeah. So, and then I felt like this, I felt like my throat just opened up. And it almost felt like, I felt like I was a frog or something, just kind of like getting ready to ribbit or something.
Yeah.
Like it just felt opened up more.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really, really interesting. I don't know, Pat, what happened? What happened to me?
Well, a big part of it is that you were very open and accepting to the process. Okay? And so that always makes it easier. The sensations you described were very clear and very right on for you. However, I'll tell you that not everyone experiences that the way you experienced it. The other thing about what happened is once that opened, and I think I said something like, there's something that you need to speak from your heart, which is why I was getting it in your throat, but you were getting it in your heart. So that there was something you needed to speak from your heart. Mm-hmm. You were very open to that. You're one of those people that didn't just shut everything down as soon as you walked out of my office door. Mm-hmm. You kept it open, which means you kept processing. Mm-hmm. It was kept resonating with you, and in fact, you can probably expect another opening or two like that. Maybe not to that extent, but that's very possible for that to happen.
Yeah, that was kind of a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
How long do these sessions generally last, Pat? Does it vary from person to person?
Yes, it varies from person to person, and it will depend on also why we're using the bowls. So, for example, if I'm going to do a word association exercise in hypnosis, we may only do it for a few minutes just to have them really relax. If we're really working on some stress-related things or trying to clear the chakras, it can go anywhere from a half an hour to 45 minutes, just depending upon what we're doing.
That's very interesting. And so most of your patients would you call them patients that you see?
I call them clients.
Clients, yeah. Okay. Most of your clients that you see, is there a specific reason why folks come in, or I'm sure it's a variety, but what is it that you mostly see folks for?
Mostly I see people that want to do something better. They want to be better at something, or they want to have something within themselves come out so they can be more self-expressive. A lot of what I see, and many times I hear, Pat, I just feel stuck. I'm just stuck in my life. So that's a presenting issue more often than I can name. And it's really what it boils down to. And sometimes, unfortunately, I don't get to use the bowls as much as I'd like, but sometimes it's just a matter of doing a bit of a clearing and then letting them process for a while. Other times it's much more in-depth than that, and there's a reason why people hold on to stuff and stay stuck.
So yesterday at the workshop, you provided some tools for people to, learn how to overcome some of these blockages.
Well, the basic
transformation
idea
tools?
behind the workshop yesterday was an introduction to my book that's going to be coming out at the end of the summer, right around the 1st of September. And so what we did yesterday was give the participants, I called it an introduction. And what we did was we gave them one of the very basic concepts that you need to understand before you can really figure yourself out. And that's how your subconscious mind works. And then as a follow-up to that, we showed the participants how they had lost pieces of themselves, how pieces of themselves had been taken away, pieces of them physically, mentally, and spiritually. And then we did a brief meditation or visualization, if you will, showing them how to bring some of those, at least those minor pieces back.
Yes, I think that's really important to do the visualizations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what is the name of the book?
The Practical Guide to Figuring Yourself Out.
Yes.
That's cool.
101.
Yeah.
It really is, and it's geared to take people step by step, very similar to the process if they would come to see me. Now, it can't be in as much depth, but people could get a lot out of it. There's a lot we can do ourselves if we know how. So it gives a step-by-step thing that you can go through. There's a portion that explains the underlying concepts enough to get them through some things to where they can start reclaiming their lives and not have to just walk around being miserable because they can't afford therapy or coaching. And yes, people are going to run up against things that they can't do themselves, but at least this gives them a start.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times people, I've heard some people get so upset with the younger generations and who are perhaps in their mid-20s, and people just say, oh, well, how long are they going to keep doing this? When are they going to find themselves? When are they going to figure who they really are? Because they're one way, one day they're one way, tomorrow they're the other day, and the next week they're another way, and I think that finding yourself is so kind of difficult to do, because we have so many parts of ourselves. And I feel like life is always changing us. We're always constantly, evolving. And it makes it difficult to really ever know who we really are. The midlife crisis, what happens there?
Well, I agree with you to a point. But I think no matter what goes on in our life, who we are at our core is who we are. And I don't think that changes. I think what does change may be dependent on, and it doesn't have to be, but I think what you're talking about is we let that stuff change us and influence our behavior. But I don't think we ever change who we are at our core. Does that make sense?
Like circumstances, certain things that you're involved in, or
and
people
then
around
things that you believe, things that you've been told, things that you believe. I tell people, drop all your judgments, opinions, beliefs, expectations, and rules, and life is a breeze. And it is. But we've been taught all this stuff, and that we're supposed to be opinionated, and we're supposed to judge stuff. We're also, a big thing in the workshop yesterday, too, was people have been taught not to feel, or that the feelings that they have aren't okay. Well, that's part of who we are at our core, and if we're not allowed to have those, we're not going to find out who we are. Yeah. And I think those are some of those circumstances you were talking about.
Are you seeing certain types of age groups of folks that are coming in, your clients, or are you seeing a variety of age groups?
I see a variety, but I would say 90% of my clients are females between the ages of 35 and 65.
Is that because the females we're just kind of more in touch, or we want to be more in touch with ourselves and what's going on, and trying to figure out what's going on in our lives more so than men?
Well, I think you're absolutely right about that. But I think the other thing that adds to that is that it's more accepted socially if women do this. There's not as much stigma attached to it as if guys do it. Now, I have some guys, but
it's not a macho thing to touch
and
bowls
I
and
think
find out what's going on.
Right.
I think, like I said, as women, we have more permission to do it.
Right. And we can just tell them the experience and they can live through us, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It's interesting, though, that the guys that do come in are probably some of the most macho guys I know, if you want to go, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I think it's because they're confident enough in themselves and their machoism, if there is such a word, that they really don't give a rat's patoot what somebody else thinks. They want to find out who they are and they want to move forward, and so they do.
Wow.
Those are fun guys to work with.
Right. That's very cool.
Well, I think it's wonderful that you have this the ability to be able to bring the hypnotherapy and the sound healing, because the intention is really, really important, and you're absolutely right. Going back to what I was saying, I think a lot of people don't understand the power behind the intention of our thoughts and our words, and how so many things just start from just the intention. And having to change that small perspective of ourselves and is probably the most powerful part of the domino effect of what happens.
Yes, I agree.
And that's I think when we're talking about finding yourself, it's like, shedding off those layers of everything that, having a teenage boy, it's so hard to say to myself, oh, well, because he's this way, or because our children are this way, you got to, blame the parents. When it's really hard to do that, because, we teach our children core values, but, the world is really, it kind of seems like the world is kind of raising them, and it's a hard battle. Is,
you teach, or we teach our children these core values, but they still get to choose. They're still going to get, okay, am I going to follow this or am I not? They're still in choice.
Right.
So even though we teach them doesn't necessarily mean they're going to agree with us.
Right, that's exactly right. And that's, the intention, again, of, what really is the core value of everything, of the individual and the character of that being. It's so hard to get to that certain part of a person and change that. And it definitely, are there any tools that you have found in your hypnotherapy where, in your journey as a healer, have you found any tools that can make it easier for an individual to get to that space of finding who their really true selves really may be?
Yes, I'm gonna go back to what I said a little bit earlier, and that is getting people to drop their judgment. And I don't mean using your good judgment to make up. I'm talking about judgmentalism. Getting people to stop judging themselves. Because whenever we judge ourselves...
Yeah, it's hard. Yes.
Well, the thing is, though, is we're focusing on the judgment. And if we're focusing on the judgment, we can't use that energy to heal or to move in a different direction. What we focus on is what we get. So if I've got someone that's focused, has always been told they're stupid, they believe that about themselves. Wow. Okay, so everything to them is stupid. So, and that's what they focus on. If I can get them to drop that judgment about judging everything they do and just do something for fun and have it be what it is, that's where they start getting in touch with themselves. Drop the judgment.
There we go. That is the one thing that we at least can focus on this week. Let's drop the judgment on ourselves.
Yeah.
I feel like this weight just went off me.
There it goes. Out the door.
I feel better
and the whole thing is not to get down on yourself now if you find yourself judging. Okay, because I've had clients do that. Said, oh, I'm so awful. I did this judgment. I said, just stop it. Just stop and go, oh, look at me judging.
Right.
Okay, I think I'll stop and then move on. But I've had people beat the heck out of themselves for judging, and then we're back to square one.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's hard to do because we're being judged all the time. We judge all the time. Yeah.
That's very, very true. Very true. Now, have you ever seen any light coming from the sounds that you make from your bowls?
Seen any light?
Yeah, it's like energy or anything
Yes.
like this. Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. There's times when, they just kind of glow sometimes. Yes.
Wow.
So do you also do aura readings?
Yes, I do chakra readings, and I can also look at people's aura. Yes.
How do you do
I
that,
like
Pat?
I like the chakra readings best.
Do you, I know they have a camera out. Is that what you use?
No, the Carreiro photography.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And they can show you pictures of your chakras. They can show you pictures of your aura. And here's the thing about that: is I've actually taken clients and we've done the picture, right, and then we do a meditation. And we go back and take the pictures again, and of course the chakra colors and the auras have all changed, and they're prettier and they're more in balance. And that's great. But then the first time you get another thought or something or you do a judgment, okay, then you get shifted back again. So I think that snapshot is great. One of the things that I like about doing the chakra readings, however, is that my guides show me where the blocks are in each chakra, and those never change unless you're working on them and going in and doing the healing. And so that's why I like to do the chakra healing or the chakra readings. It also goes along with the medical hypnoanalysis and maybe even what bowl to use, because they give me a visual not only of where the blocks are, but the shape of the block within the chakra.
Really?
And it's just a whole lot of information. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and when you can do that and really zone in then on a particular area, you can direct your healing. I can direct the healing that's done through me, but we can also then use that as a direction for how the client can begin to heal themselves and what are exercises they can do in that area. We may even be able to go to specific incidents to where we can do some healing right there. You know, anything that's ever happened to us, it stays with us at the age at which it happened. And so if something happened at a very young age, that's how it still affects us. And if we can get to a place where we can get in and heal at that level, it speeds up the healing, but it also is true healing, you know? It's not just shifting a thought or a thing. It's getting in there and it's really healing.
Wow,
So,
that's pretty powerful to be able to go back into that time.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And I mean, do you ever find that people have kind of like freaked out going back to that time? I mean, that's got to be a lot of trauma for an individual. Let's just say, for example, a rape victim might have to go back to that space and time where things happened, you know.
Okay, see, the thing about that is you have to be really careful. And so what I would say to everyone out there is, don't ever, ever, ever let anyone do that with you unless you're 100% sure of their qualifications. Don't ever let anyone intentionally do an age regression with you unless you know they've been trained to do that. Because what you just spoke is so true.
Right.
If you get someone in that place and you don't know what to do with them while they're there, you will in fact give them the trauma twice.
I'm saying this because I actually know of somebody that happened to.
Wow.
And they're actually like, if I could just use a word, crazy for 2 years.
Wow.
That's a long time. They weren't able to go back to work.
Yes.
You know, just really just crazy stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to. You don't mess around with that. You have to know. You have to know what to do.
Kind of like somebody would having a breakdown, like a mental breakdown.
Right.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. If you've gone back, think how traumatic a rape is. I mean, just imagine how traumatic that is. And not to only have it done, but then to go back and live it again and not have it fixed. And I don't mean fixed in a really flip way. I mean have it healed or beginning to heal or knowing what to do with that.
And in
then
situations
you're
like that, it takes a while to go through. Because I mean, I know, being a practitioner, it's like people come in, they want you to fix them right there. 100%, you're okay.
It doesn't happen like that, right?
It doesn't.
No,
It's
it
like, how
doesn't.
long
It
have you
does
had
not.
this problem? Right. And you want me to
Exactly.
help you just one time?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a process, right?
yes.
I used to be. I had clients that didn't think it was too humorous, but for those that could handle it, I used to have a magic wand in my drawer, because then I would say to them, "The only way we can do this is if this magic wand works, and it's probably
you
not
gotta-
going to work.
but you
So
gotta
how about we
believe."
tackle it my way, right?
Right. Yes.
Wow.
But how long does something like this take? People can expect, I mean, something like this, I would imagine that it would take a course of at least no less than maybe 3 to 6 months for people really to see the process and change, make that huge change that most people will need to do.
Yeah, and see, it's hard for me to give number of sessions or time, because again, it so depends on the person. And the other thing is, a person may be dealing with a rape, for example, but there's so much other stuff around the rape, and as repercussions to the rape, that has to be cleared up too. So you're working in more than one area.
So it's
But
almost
the key there is, if you're healing in one area, it's going to spread out. So it's not overnight.
it's like layers that you have to kind of
Oh, yeah.
peel
Yeah.
off
Oh,
and,
for sure.
and work
Absolutely.
with.
Yes. And sometimes, it's not a matter of just taking a person to that incident. Sometimes something can be so traumatic that I call it, first we stick our toe in the water, and then maybe we'll put our whole foot in the water, and then maybe we'll go up to our knees, and getting perhaps closer and closer to the incident all the time, because to take someone and just throw them right back into that can be very traumatic too. So depending upon the person, I'll go very, very slowly, and then I have to be patient with yourself. This is really hard stuff.
Yeah, I think that's where the sound really, talk about relaxation. Very much, very, very relaxing when I was in there and I was sitting down, and it's, it's an enclosed room, and you feel the vibration of the sound just penetrating through your body, and all I could do was just close my eyes and just enjoy it.
And just kind of take it in
Yeah.
and see where it was taking you.
Really
And
fabulous.
how you felt.
It was a fabulous feeling. Very,
That's-
very beautiful.
That's interesting. I would
See, the
imagine.
whole key to that, though, Aeimee, is you were so open to it.
You find that folks are not open to that when they start doing the bowl process?
Well, they think they're open to it. They want to be open to it. But if they haven't had much experience with that kind of thing, they might be a bit afraid. They might be a little bit full of tension. And that's going to change things until they get used to it. But Aeimee came in just wide open to the experience and accepting of it. But it's something that was not foreign to you or scary for you. But that's going to change your experience depending upon how you come into the session, too.
You know what, though, Pat? You said something earlier, having no expectations.
Yes.
Right. I didn't have, and that's what I really go into a lot of times, having no expectation. Because to me, I feel that, I very much follow the what you're speaking of, not judging, not being judgmental. I have to say, I do judge myself, a lot, just because I have some big shoes that I feel like I have to fill, but I'm working through that, and I've gotten much better. But definitely towards others, there's no expectation and there's no judgment. And I feel that every opportunity, every new situation, every connection, that whether I'm meeting friends or family or new people, it's always a new experience. So even the stuff that I've had, situations that happened in the past, it no longer exists. Everything is new. And for me, like, I walked in there, no expectations. I've never done anything like that before. But I was just completely open. When you say open, open to whatever was going to happen.
You think maybe folks are afraid they don't know what to expect right? They're
yeah.
thinking, oh gosh, something's going to happen to me afterwards. So maybe they're
Right.
worried about that whole experience, the after effect.
I try to spend time with and answer somebody's questions until they have no more questions. But still, that sometimes that's not enough.
Mm.
And sometimes you just, who's this strange lady that's dinging on this glass bowl and she thinks that's going to make me feel better? Well, it's not. But yeah, and that's okay, because the only way they're not going to be skeptical is to have an experience. And some of the most skeptical people coming in, again, we just stuck a toe in the water, and they'll come back many times.
Mm-hmm.
And go a little bit farther and a little bit farther until they're comfortable. And however they do it is perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
Right. And if you don't mind my asking, what is the cost for? Is it a session? Is it several sessions, or how does that work?
Well, the way I operate is I just, whatever I'm doing, I charge by the session. So it's $100 for an hour session. It's $67.50 for a half an hour session. There's times when people will just come in for a few minutes. I don't charge them for that. If someone's walking through the center and would just like to experience for a few minutes, I don't ever charge anybody for that, just to give someone the experience. But basically, if they're in there for work, it's a half hour or an hour session.
Mm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you that if you come into the center, there's a rack out front, and we did a mailing to where there's like a 30% discount on your first two sessions. We started this back in April. This is just online. We started it back in April because we were new in the neighborhood and wanted to bring a bunch of people in. And so there's still things out front. So come on in. You can. And the other thing is if you want to come in for a few minutes and just play with the bowls, you're welcome to do that, and we're not going to charge you anything, okay?
That's awesome. Any goldfish in there? I'm just joking.
Are you the only one that is performing this treatment to folks right now, or do you have others in your facility there?
I think I'm the only one that's doing the bowls, per se, and that's a small part of it. I think of the bowls as an extra tool that I use. So, yes, I'm the only one in the center that's using the bowls right now.
Mm.
Right, because
I will tell you, though, that if someone comes in and really needs bowl treatment at a really deep level and is really resonating with that, I have someone outside of the facility that I do refer to that is just freaking amazing. She's got a doctorate and has studied this at all kinds of levels. So
cool.
It's not like I'm starting something that we can't get you to someone that's really an expert in it.
Hmm.
Right. So Pat, can you pronounce your last name again, please?
Yes. I tell you what, I'll give you an easy way to remember it, all right?
Thank you.
All right. Think of the stuff that bees make.
Honey.
And add Otis.
Otis. Honey Otis.
There you go.
Honey Otis. How sweet is that? Pat, Honey Otis.
Honey Otis. There
Honey
you go.
Otis. Pat, you do the sound healing, the hypnoanalysis, the self-empowering coaching, and you also do the counseling. Correct? Is there anything that I've missed?
No, I don't think so. I will sometimes do Reiki, but it's not, again, a main treatment that I do. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I also do a lot of classes and a lot of weekend workshops because I think people really need the experience to go along with the intellectual stuff. So
right, the interactive part of things.
Yes.
Yes, that's very, very true. Very true. Yeah. And tell us again the name of your book that's coming out at the end of the summer.
It's called The Practical Guide to Figuring Yourself Out. It's a
Awesome.
workbook.
Okay. And if somebody wants to get a hold of you, any of our listeners that may want to get a hold of you?
I can be reached at my website, which is pat at reclaimyourlife.org.
Fabulous.
Or I can be reached by phone, 602-788-7515.
Fabulous. That's great. And you are located over at the Phoenix Natural Medicine and Detox Center off 301 West Roosevelt Street, Suite number 2. and that's in downtown Phoenix, folks. Wow, Pat, you know what? I was really surprised to find that you have a lot of clients. And I think that's wonderful because as we were talking, there's not too many people who are aware of the sound, the power of the sound energy, and really about how you're connecting everything together. So it's great to know that people are becoming more interested and aware of the resources that are available to them.
Right.
It's fabulous.
The other thing that I really love about that location is that we have a number of very qualified, solid people at that center. And if I may say, the work that you did with the client, one of my clients, made my job so much easier. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I love about this group of people is we can work together to support each other, to support our clients. Because all of this, when we work together, I think it just makes it so much easier for everybody.
Right. That's very true. We have a naturopathic doctor there. We have a mental behavioral doctor as well. We also have a colon hydrotherapist. We have Pat. We have a nutritionist. And myself as a Chinese medical practitioner. And there's another one as well, Dr. Liu from China. And it was interesting because it was the first time that I actually got to work with somebody like Pat. And the way we tag teamed this person was, I did the treatment first, the acupuncture and so on first, and then she went to go see Pat. So what Pat was referring to was how her part of felicitating the healing was far more easier, just being able to reach to the individual much faster. And you said something that it seemed like you got further in your process. Is that correct, Pat?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That makes me happy.
It's so cool to have someone there that I can't deal with the physical stuff. I'm not qualified to do that. But I can see it, and I know not to send them to a regular physician because the regular physician's going to think I'm a little goofy, and I am, but not in that way. And to be able to hit all aspects, I just think is amazing.
Right, and and they'll probably want to put them on medication. So
exactly.
this is definitely a great alternative method of instead of you wanting to take your meds, here's another option that most people
and
have.
I have no disagreement with meds if they're really, really needed. But so many times they're not. And I'll tell you, sometimes when they're on meds, it makes it 10 times harder to go through because you have to go through the meds to get to what's going on in addition to the ordinary stuff.
Yes, that is very, very true. Yes.
That's nice that you all have that referral system amongst each other there.
Yeah, it works really nice.
That's very nice.
And it's so cool as you walk next door and you knock on the door and say, could you talk to my client for a minute? It's not like we have to go through all this political stuff,
Yes. If you guys are interested in checking out the clinic, it's the website is www.phxnaturalmedicine.com. And you'll find all the information that we're talking about, all our services and so on, right up on there. So you can get in contact with us through there.
Very nice.
Pat, I want to thank you so much for being our guest tonight on Random Affairs.
And I want to thank you for having me. This was so much fun. I could sit and talk about this stuff all day, so thank you so much.
Yes, and I am sure that I'll be seeing you tomorrow and hearing you through the walls.
We'll be hearing some of this stuff going on.
We're entertaining, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Listeners, I want to thank all of you for being so patient and being wonderful. Thanks, sis. I love it. Do it. Yes.
That was only halfway through your session, but
yes.
So you actually hear this through the walls.
Yeah, this is what I hear through the walls.
Very nice. And you're wondering what's going on? Are they making bowls over there or what? It's just pottery class?
And you can feel the vibration though. That's what's so wild.
Wow.
Is you can just actually feel it.
You're like, I got to go check this out.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to have my listeners check this out. This is so cool. I hope you guys all enjoyed it as much as we have. I know I certainly have. Sis, thank you so much for being on.
No
with us.
problem. Very interesting. Thank you, Pat Otis.
Honey Otis.
Honey Otis.
Pat, Miss Sweet Thing. All right, Pat. Well, we will talk to you. I will talk to you tomorrow, Pat. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. And listeners, I want to thank you all again for tuning in to Random Affairs. What you got for us, sis?
I think we have the close for your show.
Well,
Thank you so much. It was very interesting. Aeimee Hazard, guys, every other Sunday.
What was it?
Check it out. Well, let's see. I don't know.
Joe's
What
got all kinds of...
Oh, that's the phone. Let me go ahead and take that away. It would help if I turn this down.
I can just hear Joe going crazy right now.
There we go. Sorry
Here,
about that.
it's
I
all-
apologize. All right. Well, let's take you out then with the close of Aeimee Hazard's show. Till next time, guys, and we'll find out what your next
Yeah, in a
topic's
couple
going
of
to be.
weeks, it's one of those random things, y'all.
Ooh, can't
So,
wait.
Keep it on, keep it straight.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Another day. Just breathe, just breathe, just breathe, just breathe.
Well, our intimate time together has come to a close. Join us every other Sunday discussing random affairs with you. This is Aeimee Hazard saying, stay to your truth. Live your life with love and passion. Thank you for listening in. Buenas noches. Bonsoir. Arrivederci. Good night.
Just believe. Just breathe another day. Just believe. Another day. Just believe.
Are we done yet?
Another day.
What? You're still there?
Just
Go to bed already!